Hi, I'm Jonas from Whole Body Chiro. Today I want to run through a routine that you can use if you have burning pain between your shoulder blade and the spine. This all started with one of my clients. A long-term client that had this very long-term problem of burning pain in the mid-back. It gets so bad that they really struggle to use his arms for any prolonged period of time, like using a mouse or do dishes. That cramping tension gets worse and worse, and then it comes in and it's so sore that I just put my hands on his back and said, stop that. My back is cramping. So very reactive and inflamed. A classic sign of tendinopathy. And then one day he comes in and says, "You wouldn't believe this. I went to my therapist and he gave me this exercise that made a world of a difference. I could feel straight away it was going to do me good. So since then, I've been doing it 3 times a day and I'm feeling heaps better." Basically, what the exercise was, it's using a exercise band like this, just standing up, pulling, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then holding that position there for 5 to 10 seconds. So simple. So since it made such a big difference for him, I prescribed the same thing to lots of other people with a similar presentation, and many of them say the same thing, that that's the best exercise ever for me. And then I came across this YouTuber. They interviewed a researcher on tendinopathies and how to manage those inflamed sore tendons. And he gave a loading protocol that was very similar to this, with that 10 to 30 seconds of loading up to about 100 seconds, and doing it very frequently, every 6 to 8 hours, and explained why in a very good way. So I thought I will make a collection of these exercises that's really good for that burning pain between the shoulder blade and the spine, and include some of that clip that explains why it works so well, so people can get the routine and once for all figure out how to get on top of that burning pain between the shoulder blades and the spine. So let's have a look at the video.
What we were doing is we would make these little engineered ligaments. And so the goal at the beginning is, hey, I'm going to make ligaments. You're going to rupture your ACL. You're going to send me like a sample that we'll take in the doctor's office. I'm going to isolate the cells. I'm going to make you an ACL in the dish in my laboratory. I'm going to send it back to you so that you don't have to take your hamstring or the middle third of your patella, and we can replace that ruptured ACL. That's the idea, but we have to get them stronger. So we started looking at, okay, we know exercise makes these tendons stronger, but what about the exercise? And what we found is it didn't matter whether we stretched them 20% or 5% or 2%, the signals to get bigger and stronger were the same. But then we started doing for different time lanes, and the signal would go up and then it would go away really quick. And so the way that I explain it now is that your tendon, ligament, your bone, all of your connective tissue cells are a lot like my 17-year-old daughter. She's going to listen to me for maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, and then she's going to just tune me out. So I need to get all the information in that 5 to 10 minutes. So if you're going to go and you're going to climb, for example, like Emil would do all the time, he's going to spend 3, 4, 5 hours at the wall doing different things. The tendons stopped getting the signal to adapt at 10 minutes. Everything on top of that was just wear and tear that could, slightly cause problems. And so what that meant to us is that there's this minimal effective dose. So if I give you 10 minutes of loading that is optimized for those connective tissues, whether it's tendon, ligament, cartilage, or bone, I can get you to get all of the signal from that whole exercise bout in 10 minutes. And so that was the first part. The second part was, how long does it take before I can get more signal to go through that system? Think of it like your toilet. I flush my toilet, it's going to flush. But if, when my daughter was younger, she would, oh, that was fun. Let me do that again. It wouldn't flush for a while. She needed to let the bowl refill, let the tank refill so that I could flush it. So that's called the refractory period. How long do I have to wait before that next session? And what we found is about 8 hours, 6 to 8 hours later. And amazingly, that was almost exactly the same thing that other researchers had found for bone. That as few as 40 stimuli with 8 hours of rest was maximal for bone. We found that 10 minutes of activity, whether you did walking or running or just holds, 10 minutes worth, so 10 seconds on, 50 seconds off, 100 seconds total, over that 10 minutes, that's all the signal your cells need. You wait.
All right, so to apply this to the spine, basically, if you're looking how your spine and shoulder blade fits together, you have your rib cage next to the thoracic spine, and then the shoulder blade sort of floats on that and is suspended off the spine mainly with muscles. So first of all, you have your rhomboids that run between here. So that's what he was squeezing those muscles to sort of get the spine to kiss together behind the spine by squeezing like that. So that's in a shortened position. I'm going to show another couple of exercises where it's in a stretched position. So once again, the rhomboids and also the middle traps sort of gets stretched. So for the first one, you're using a stick like the vacuum here. I'm going to grab with my arms crossed and then pushing that way. So the muscles are stretched, elbow straight, and I push. And from that stretch position, I'm doing an isometric contraction, pulling or pushing the arms there. Another way that you can have that stretched position and put load through the muscle is with a chair like this. One foot up, the other hand grabs underneath, and with the foot I'm pushing down and the arm I'm pulling up, and now it's both stretched and trying to contract the muscle at the same time, and just fairly gently hold it under load there. If you want to go a bit further up with the muscles that go between the shoulder blade and the neck, you have your upper traps and levator scapula. We can target them once again with the chair, sitting down, grabbing underneath the seat, pull my head away from that hand that's anchored down the bottom, and then contract the muscles to push back up that way. Do slightly different angles to hit different fibers. So that means now we've done the muscles in the middle and at the top of the shoulder blade. Let's look at the ones that go further down, like your lats and lower traps. So I'm going to use a door for that. So from here, I'm going to grab on the other side of the door with one hand, the other one pushes on top, and I'm going to sort of pull like that. Right here. I'll show a couple of different angles. From this side, that hand there, pushing with that, and then you can move around until you find the right angle to get that stretch. So there you have it, 5 exercises to work through the muscles that run between the shoulder blade and the spine. If they feel chronically tight and inflamed, doing this frequently, so at least 2, maybe even 3 times a day, 6 to 8 hour rest in between each time you do it. Load it for about 100 seconds. You can do 10 rounds of 10 seconds, or do some longer rounds like 30-second rounds, and do say 4 rounds of that. And you will find that very quickly, if you have a tendinopathy and chronic inflammation there, you give the signal for those cells to start to reorient in a good, healthy direction and get some good healing in there. So try it out and good luck.